Hey there, this is John Barton from JB Cases, and I'm here with Brandon Shuff, and I'm sure a lot of you guys out there know who he is, and if you don't, then just go find out. You'll learn a lot.
Thanks, John.
So anyway, Brandon is on his way to Dallas. He's heading out for another tournament, and he stopped in to help to have us fix him up with his case needs, and I wanted to chat with him for a few minutes. So, as a lot of you know, Brandon is a really good one-pocket player, and we are in the business of protecting cues. So I wanted to ask him some advice, real quick advice about how best to protect my bankroll in one pocket outside of just not playing. So,
well, first of all, I'm happy to be here and happy to be using your case. You know, it's the best one on the market. Yeah, man, protecting your bankroll in one pocket. Don't ever let your man shoot at his hole. That's all I can really tell you. But no, it's good to come by here and hit some balls with you and get on to the subject about ProOne center to edge and how effective it really is. And it really is the truth. And you know, it's exciting to get in here and to stumble upon that and have that similarity between us. So it was good to hit some balls and you know, play some one pocket with you and
absolutely.
You know,
So
do all that good stuff.
So, you know, talking about ProOne, center to edge, you know, there's a lot of, you probably don't, I don't see you talking about it much online, you know, but you're aware, I know, of the controversy that, you know, erupts around that and aiming systems in general.
Sure.
And there's a whole, like, you know, one side of it is like aiming systems, some people say aiming systems don't work at all.
Yeah.
Some people say, well, they work to some degree, and other people are full on, you know, aiming systems are awesome. My whole thing with this has always been, why try to prevent someone from trying something?
New, trying something new that could work. Yeah, you know, you have to keep an open mind when it comes to the aiming systems, because there's not one that is perfect for everybody, you know, because there's different levels of learning, there's different ways to aim, you know, like Shane Van Boning uses an aiming system that involves his cue, his Q-tip, and the edge of his ferrule. But then the ProOne is mainly a perception of lines with the balls on the table. Right. There's different versions of how to aim things, and not one system could be perfect for everyone. But with my experience with ProOne and learning different aiming systems and having a broad perspective of it all, the one that is the most truest, that fit to me, that made all the sense with all the math, or whatever you call it, was ProOne center to edge. It just made so much sense, and it's really saved me. And you know, when you're not hitting the balls your best and you're not trusting your stroke as much, you know, there's ups and downs in pool when you play a lot, and ProOne has really kept my game in line for consistency. And so to me, that's like the best aiming system out there. But that could just be for me and my experience. You know,
is it fair to say? Would it be fair to say that it kind of gives you, as you're coming into the shot, it gives you a solid baseline? Oh,
for sure. That's the best part about it. You don't ever feel lost when you get down on your shot and when you have to come with it. You know, like, it's a lot of things that help the trust of the shot. You know. Yeah, it's really the truth, you know. Stan Shuffet has really put in a lot of work in trying to get us this information and trying to share it with everybody a little more, so the people who can use it, who choose to use it, can really take advantage of it.
So, you also told me that you went to Stan Shuffet's and you spent a couple days, and that Stevie drove up to be with you guys and hang out.
Yep.
So, in your estimation, from your standpoint, as already at that point being a great player when you got there, you were already a really good player. What was the learning curve for you at that point?
The learning curve for me there was understanding how not to use so much English all the time, because I've always been an English player. American pool, it evolves around how you spin your cue ball and what you can do with it. So I grew up spinning my cue ball a lot, and once I got to the ProOne side of things, it put me in check and made me start to work from the inside out with English, instead of always being all over the ball.
Where you got to spin the ball,
exactly.
Right.
But no, I started to bear down on the center of the cue ball and then work out with my English and start to add what is needed, like you were saying earlier when we were talking. You know, you can add the English as needed and learn how to do that better with ProOne and center to edge. It basically it can put you in check.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of a lot of the books and regular instruction talks about trying to play mostly with center ball. But I wonder if people ever really learn to aim with center ball, you know. So that when they try to play that way, they're getting down on a lot of shots, and as the shots get you know, perceptually tougher, like a thinner cut, longer shot, things like that, they start to lose where center ball is. And I think for me, CTE and ProOne brings me into center ball every time, no matter what the shot is.
That's a really good way to put it, because, you know, like, you know, let's say you got an 8-foot shot and you need to hit it real thin. You know, your cue is not going to aim that shot. Like, and knowing the English is not going to help you aim the shot. Knowing the English is just knowing how to judge the reaction after the shot. But if you can get behind the balls and use the cue ball to aim at a specific point on the object ball, it doesn't matter what the distance is. You know, you can get to it easier. You can have access to executing the shot better. You can not be feeling right, and you could be still in the right spot. You know what I mean? Like, the perceptions of the lines and how they all come together makes it to where it really doesn't matter how you feel. You just need to follow these guidelines, and it can put you in the best position possible to execute your shot.
Now, earlier we talked a little bit about feel, right? That there's still feel in this shot.
Yeah, that's where we were getting at. Yep.
So, for me, I've said this a lot, that CTE reduces feel for me down to the minimum necessary, you know, or the least possible. On a lot of shots, it reduces it to where I feel like there's no feel at all. It's just a key. It's automatic. I get in there. However, me personally, I also know that, you know, there's a lot of shots when I get down there, I'm aimed right, but I still have to have the right touch. You know, you still have to hit the ball with the right speed or the right stroke.
Sure,
to make it react the way you want.
Yeah.
And what do you say about that?
Well, the way I would say that is that, you know, there's never going to be a perfect system that's going to turn a human into a robot playing pool. So when it comes to applying English, you still have to feel your shots. I think every system is going to still have a feel factor involved, but with ProOne, they have they have a visual sweep. The visual sweep concept, and then the pivot. So, you know, depending on the player's talent and how they need to learn the ProOne, determines on which one of those you would use. But I use the visual sweep that helps me control my English and control my feel. So even when I have to let it out with English and you're not so sure that center ball is the way to go based on how you need to move your cue ball, it still builds the trust, and it makes it a lot more effective.
So it allows you basically to
I'm
use...
using my feel, but it's max effective.
Right.
And I've got it under control, and I feel like it's under control. I'm not going to lose it. If I butcher the shot or something, it was something to do with my physical form or something like that. You know, it wasn't anything to do
You're
with
always
the way
confident in your aim.
in my line and the shot, the way I'm hitting it. The visual sweeps is really where it's at, and the ProOne.
See, now as an amateur, I feel the same way that you said it. But I know, for example, myself, that I'm sometimes lazy in the application of it. So sometimes when I come into the shot, and I do it a little bit, I do it a lot more manual than you do. So I'm less on the ProOne, just because, again, I've been lazy in trying to learn it and apply it properly.
Yeah, applying it properly is the toughest problem.
So I know, for example, that if I'm really focusing and I can get myself in a zone where I see I'm applying it correctly, and then I know it's only my stroke that if I mess up the shot.
Yeah, that's the what do you call it? That's the happy medium that we're all after, is to get to that point to where you can know you just release and release only, you know. And but that has a lot to do with comfort zones and things like that, and applying it applying it at your best potential is always going to be tough, no matter who uses it. You see what I'm saying? So you got to play with it more often and get to know it. Like I've been on off and on. Sometimes I'll resort to only using it to a certain amount, and then sometimes I'll be playing a lot of pool, and then I notice that my feel is getting a little out of whack, and then I resort to the ProOne, and it slaps everything back into place.
It brings you right back into focus.
Oh, it brings me right back into focus, man. If I feel anything lazy, or if my application of how I get into my shot is not working very well, I start to think ProOne. I get back into the basics of it and just go to it, and it gets me right back into check. I've had so much success with ProOne, I really have.
I like it a lot.
Yeah,
I can tell you.
I'm a firm believer in a lot of aiming systems, but ProOne is just the most effective. That's how I like to say it.
Right, awesome. Well, I'm glad that you were here and we're able to clarify that.
Yeah,
because
thanks for having me. Yeah.
There's always a lot of people out there, who one of their main arguments against aiming systems is if it was so great, everybody would be a champion.
Right.
And that argument is so silly because, if you just look at any other endeavor, right? Look at race cars, right? So
right.
Race cars are now built to the highest possible standard they can possibly be built at. They can be mechanically clocked, scientifically built to be the fastest possible machine on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
But not everyone can drive one.
That's right.
So it's a tool.
That's right.
That requires a skill set to use it properly.
Maybe we shouldn't be calling them aiming systems. We should call them aiming tools.
Oh, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's been a whole thing. Because people don't want to feel robotic.
That's right.
And it's also not a magic bullet.
That's
I think a lot of people have that misconception.
Sure.
Even people who are against aiming systems, they use it derisively, as in there is no magic bullet. And it's true. You still have to practice. You still have to get in there and learn it.
And to be fair, there's so much information that is evolved around the ProOne center to edge aspect that it can't even be shared to everyone yet. Stan has been working tirelessly putting everything together to try. I think he's doing a very big book on it now, and he's going to be releasing it sometime soon. I don't know what the dates are with that, but I've been following him, and I know that all the information is about to be available to everybody very soon. So I'm curious to get into it again and see his perspective again, because it's been 3 years since I've learned it, and man, I can't wait to see where it's going. That's the way to say it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that pretty much covers it. I guess so. One pocket. The advice is never let your man shoot at your hole.
Right.
That sounds a lot like Willie Mosconi's advice of don't miss.
That's right.
Both of those will get you the cheese if you can actually do it.
That's right.
And
make sure you get your JB case to protect your cue.
Yeah, we appreciate that. So your case, actually, you came by and you were where is your case anyway?
Yeah.
It's right over there.
Yeah. It's right
So, how many miles did you say your case has got on it so far?
Oh man, a few flights, a few road trips across the country. I don't know. Let's say about 6,000 miles.
So Brandon bought this case from us or you got this case from us a couple years ago?
No, I think it was Vegas last year.
Vegas last year. Yeah. So it's a year. You can see by all the stickers and everything he's been around.
Oh, it's very durable.
I like that one. Shoot pool, not people. And so yeah, it's held up pretty good. And he's come in now because he's switched cues. He's gone from a longer cue, so we were able to provide him immediately, luckily, with a case.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
That fit his longer cue, and now he's going to a shorter one, regular size case that will fit in his luggage. To accommodate his
I had a little bit of a luggage issue, because I had the longer Southwest cue, so I needed the longer case, and then all of a sudden now I need a custom duffel bag to fit the case in.
Right.
But I don't like to ship my cues by themselves. I like to put them inside of the bag just for safety purposes. You never know how much your cues could be worth, right? But yeah, so I'm thinking about retiring this one and picking up a shorter one because I sold my longer Southwest and picked up a standard Timmy Scruggs here from my buddy Jake Lawson with Lights Out Apparel. So I'm just switching up my equipment a little bit, man. I'm really glad I got to come by here and see your shop and everything, man. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Yep.
Internet, we'll see y'all later.
See you guys. Yep.